2024 is officially beginning. 1 month of absolute pandemonium. The best of national team football. And it's all live here on 99.7 Joy FM. We are the official broadcast right holders. Radio broadcast. Official radio broadcast rights holders for Euro 2024, which means we'll bring you live commentary beginning tonight. That massive opening game. And we've got our commentators lined up. You should see their schedule. Daniel, Sichu, Achu, Mubarak. The list goes on. All right, Fentu. How can I forget myself? Yeah, listen, and those of you who always say, we want TV, we want to watch will you always be by a TV? No. When you get out and you are running around, or when Doomsor visits you, and it's only your battery power radio that is on, you come and depend on us. And this is Accra, Friday night. Tonight, I can guarantee you 2 things will happen. Number 1, you will be stuck in traffic somewhere, more likely than not. It will ruin your plans. That's where 99.7 Joy FM comes in. The live radio commentary. Of that opening game involving the host nation, Germany. So, listen, I'm very excited. We'll be with you from now till the end of next month. At the end of July. July 14 is the final. So, exactly 1 month of incredible football. So we'll look ahead to the European Championships. Who are your favorites to win? Who do you think will emerge player of the tournament? Which teams will make it out of which groups? How do you think this will pan out compared to previous European Championships? So it's a whole lot to discuss on the show today. But even before that, Ghana football is, of course, approaching the Ghana Premier League in particular. This weekend is the last day of action in the Ghana Premier League. Hearts of Oak not entirely safe from relegation. They must beat Bechem United to guarantee themselves escape. If they don't win, other results have to go their way. Great Olympics, they have to win, but a win might not be good enough for them if Karela and Hearts of Oak also win. So Olympics, their fate is not entirely in their hands. Hearts of Oak's fate is in their hands. If they win, they survive. Karela United, same thing. If they win, they survive. But you can never tell the twists and turns that could potentially happen. It's also coronation weekend for Samatex, who are surprise champions of the Ghana Premier League. But massive congratulations to Nuruddin Ahmed and what he's built over there at Samra Boy. They're only their second season in the Ghana Premier League and they are champions. So we'll be talking about that, as well as the not so fanciful, not so good story from Wednesday. How did so much go wrong in a single football match? RTU on Wednesday lost by 8-1 against Dreams FC. The conversation should have centered on maybe Ajanim Boateng, who scored 5 goals in that match. But not a single person is talking about that. No one even remembers that he scored as many as 5 goals, Ajanim Boateng, in that game. The conversation, however, has centered around what I like to describe as a scandalous act of impersonation in modern day football. How did that happen? How did RTU end up parading players who were never there? The goal scorer, or the supposed RTU goal scorer, was in Tamale when his name popped up as a goal scorer. How is this possible? And it's not like someone made a mistake. His name was selected as one of the people playing the match, but he wasn't in there. How is this possible? What kind of system have we built that allows things like this to happen in our topmost division? This is partner. This can happen in the schools or maybe community gala. In the Ghana Premier League, now that is a scandal. And we're very fortunate this afternoon because we have been joined by a very special guest. And thankfully, these will not be rhetorical questions because he's coming from exactly the cortex that should have the answers to all these questions. Neil Armstrong Motagbe, head of PR and strategy at the Ghana Football Association, is joining us this afternoon on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Plan on 99.7 Joy FM, hits 103.9 FM is proudly brought to you by Patrosol. And we'll tell you all about Patrosol, DSTV as well, proud sponsors of this event. And I'd like to remind all of you that the show is live and interactive on social media. You have thoughts on everything we'll be talking about here, you can let us know on WhatsApp. It's 055 055 You prefer X or Twitter? Let us know. Let's hear from you. Use the hashtag Game Plan. Leave us a message with that hashtag Game Plan. I'll retweet them and we'll share them with the rest of our listeners from across the globe. The show is also streaming live on X Spaces as well as on YouTube on the Joy 99.7 FM YouTube page and on Facebook. So, my guests are here tonight. Victor Achutamaklo, Daniel Kransing, Nathaniel Atto are all here. Guys, welcome to the show. Before I even introduce my very special guest.
Thank you.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah.
You don't sound like you're okay. What's happening, my friend?
Oh, but the system is hot.
What system?
The system.
What is the
hot.
system that is hot? Nat, what is the system?
Oh.
But it be me talk the matter.
What is the system? The system.
But this guy.
Anyway, you hold your horses. Achu, how are you?
He won't be fine after what I did to him.
What did you do to him yesterday?
Oh, Charlie, I destroyed the man.
In what?
Oh, in our FIFA game, I destroyed the man.
He's always in a hurry to say it.
I took away his dignity.
Oh, me, I don't say anything.
Then he be like them finish you.
In due time, he'll come and confess.
You know how people often blame defeats on handicaps?
Yes.
When they get a player sent off.
Yes.
Yesterday, 9 against 10, still like hip on 5-2.
Oh, nah.
Levels,
Okay.
bro.
Okay.
And his
That
red
is
card only
embarrassing.
came after the 86th minute.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. We'll also talk some Black Stars, but Nat, welcome to the show as well.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Nice outfit as usual.
Thanks, man.
And our very special guest this afternoon is Neil Armstrong Motagbe. Neil, how you doing, my brother?
I'm alright, how are you too?
I'm good. I like your tie. Very Donald Trump-ish.
Oh well.
A very bold red tie.
Yeah. Red is
On a black shirt.
Red is a good color unless it's worn by some particular team.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
I mean,
You know, when you walked in, see the way your red tie over a black shirt. Now, that is very bold. But also, it just reminded me of like someone in a Nigerian movie. You know,
I don't know what you're talking about.
all that is missing is a hat. It's a red hat.
Exactly.
It's a red hat. And you can do all the money rituals in the world. But no, good to have you. Good to have you. How are you, my brother?
Well, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
I'm fairly good. Just a bit philosophical. You know, the attire is because today we said goodbye to the deceased physical trainer of the Black Stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roy, yeah. So we're just coming straight from the funeral. So
That explains your outfit.
yeah. When you go to a funeral of a 37-year-old, it makes you think a lot.
It does.
And that's why I said I feel a bit philosophical, but like my boss in Univer used to say, you drop one day, the work will go on. So we've done the honors to Roy. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
We commissioned with the family and with everybody connected with him, especially the Black Stars players who he trained, and also Vision FC, for whom he was physical trainer before he joined the Black Stars. And having done that, we believe we've done our duty to him.
Yeah.
And just honor his legacy of hard work, selflessness, and commitment to a cause. And that cause is what I believe brings us to Game Plan and all the spaces where we talk football and sport.
Absolutely.
And you know, Fent, talk about people who have passed on. I mean, we also need to celebrate the memory of Emmanuel Awule-Kwe. Emmanuel Awule-Kwe was the man who captained the Black Stars to the 1978 victory in the Africa Cup of Nations. Last weekend, he was laid to rest via a state burial. The president of the republic was there. And in times like these, you'd like to salute people for their service to the nation. We're almost always criticized for not celebrating the positive stories enough. And for people like Roy, who have been at the back end of everything we see on the pitch, it's just important that we celebrate their work, we celebrate their virtue, and we celebrate what positive impact they made on the job that we can transfer to the generations that follow. So once again, to the family of Mr. Emmanuel Awulekwe, we say our hearts go out to them, and we salute every single bit of sacrifice that he made for this nation, making us win that major silverware in 1978 when Aisha was not born.
Yeah. Well, a very interesting way to end it, but surely we have to be very grateful indeed, and say, this life, Charlie, Neil, you've brought something powerful. The way you started the thing, it's Charlie, it's very, very sad. It's very sad. I don't like talking about, I really don't like having to think about that. 37-year-old man, that's just heartbreaking. Yeah. But life has to go on, and so we have to proceed with our very own show as well. Now, listen, there's only one place to start, because it really doesn't. It doesn't. There's no other place to start apart from here, and I'm going to give you all the background that you need for this particular story. Now, on Wednesday, an outstanding Ghana Premier League game went on between Dreams FC and RTU. Now, RTU were already relegated. They've been relegated alongside Bofo Kwatano. In fact, there was a defeat to Kotoko that confirmed their relegation. So they were gone. Okay, but RTU still had 2 more matches to play till the end of the season. One of it was that outstanding game between themselves and Dreams FC. They came there, they lost by 8-1. Now, but even before the game had ended, it began to emerge. In fact, even before the game started, we all started to hear rumors that RTU had come to honor the game with our first team players, some of which were granting interviews to radio stations, claiming that they had not come to Accra because they were owed bonuses and salaries going back 6 months. So in protest, so they knew that before the season ended and the team already relegated, they didn't have any much leverage, and that the only leverage they really had was to threaten not to play these 2 remaining games and see if management would pay their salaries. Now, having heard about the threat, apparently some good sons of the North, including John Dramani Mahama and his brother Ali Mahama, I beg your pardon, Ibrahim Mahama, the former MD of Stanbic as well, Dr. Andani, all of them contributed some funds, not for the first time, to the management of the club to try and settle this matter to avoid any sort of embarrassing end to the season. Apparently, the management took the money, never paid the salaries, and the players went ahead with their threat and didn't make the trip. But the management and the coaches and the technical team still came here with the team anyway. They came, and then when the game started, RT scored first in the 4th minute. The name that came up was Adabo as the goal scorer. Someone placed a call to Adabo. He said he's in his bedroom. He did not score any goal in Dawu. He didn't even come to Dawu for this game. But let me not be the one to tell you. This is Adabo. Listen to him.
I am not in Dawu. I am in Tamale. They should give you the person's picture to confirm his identity. What I know is that I, Lord Hilary Adabo, I am in Tamale. All the registered players are in Tamale as well.
That's right. That's Adabo. If you didn't hear well, listen to him again.
What I can confirm is that none of the registered players,
I am not in Dawu. I am in Tamale. They should give you the person's picture to confirm his identity. What I know is that I, Lord Hilary Adabo, I am in Tamale. All the registered players are in Tamale as well.
Okay. So he certainly wasn't there. He didn't score the goal. So who scored the goal? Who was it that was parading as Adabo in that game? Who was that? Who was it? How did that happen? He wasn't the only one who denied. In fact, his captain backed him up. The captain's name is Baba Kushibo. And Baba Kushibo spoke as well after the match. And this is what he said.
What I can confirm is that none of the registered players, undertook that game. As I'm speaking currently, all the registered players that are in the RTU system are in Tamale. Some even went home, they are angry about some issues. But what happened in Peru is something unimaginable. But I just want to say that some people have certain perception of the Ghana League, and they think sometimes certain things can be done, and yes, they really executed it. Because with this, it's more or less like interest football. When you are going through inspection, at least if you see Baba Kushibo on the team sheet, you should know this is Baba Kushibo because we've been there in South Sudan. So if somebody comes in front of you and say, I am Baba Kushibo, you should tell him, no, you are not Baba Kushibo. So even this is criminal because it's impersonation. We are somewhere in Tamale and people are in the having the impression that it's us who are going to honor the game. And that is really pathetic. So what I just want to say is that yes, the match was played, but the actual characters weren't those on the field of play.
Confirmation from RTU's very captain, Baba Kushibu. And he was asking some very logical questions that he didn't understand how that was possible. That if Baba Kushibo is not standing there, why would the referee say, oh, that's Baba Kushibo, so therefore we must go on? Now, so if the RT players or first team players or registered players, let's refer to them as registered players, if RTU's registered players were not the ones there in the, who were the players that actually played the game parading as the RTU's players? And how did they come by them? Now listen to Say Mubarak. He's a journalist based in Tamale.
After the refusal of the registered players to travel with the team because management had actually failed to pay them for the last 5 months, the decision was taken by the CEO and a few management members that why not take, a second division club that is quite known in the region, is quite known in Tamale to play or to go and stand in for Real Tamale United. They decided that, okay, Galaxy FC, a second division club we don't know in Tamale, is there. Let's go and then talk to them, take the players for this particular game. And for me, that is quite unfortunate. I keep on asking myself questions as to who gave them that decision, who advised them.
Interesting. So Galaxy FC. They are ones who have players in abundance. So they can lend the players to anybody as and when they want. There's been some development since then. The GFA released a statement. The GFA prosecutor released a statement and said that they were charging RTU and they were also investigating the players that were used for the match. And the prosecutor, the GFA prosecutor, was taking immediate action. He said RTU have been charged with a breach of sections 34(6)(d) of the GFA Disciplinary Code 2019 following their Premier League game against Dreams FC. And they go on and allege the charges. They have until today, Friday, to respond to the charges. We will find out if they actually responded to the charges. And the GFA prosecutor is also currently conducting a thorough investigation into the players alleged to have been engaged in this act of impersonation. And they say once the investigation is complete and their true identities are confirmed, appropriate charges will be brought against any individuals found culpable. Dreams FC also released a statement and said that they have filed a protest against RTU for using unqualified players. Somebody asked a question. He said, so they don't want the 8-1 because right now, if they win the protest, it will come down to 3.3 goals instead of 3.81. But it seems like I've been talking forever. So let me bring in Achu to bring perspective onto all these things and how RTU even got to this point. What has been the build up? How long have we known this as happening to the club? And how did they succeed in doing what they did? Then I can get Neil to respond. And then we can talk about other things that he's been working on at the FA since he joined. Achu,
5 minutes.
the floor is yours.
Okay. How did we get here? The Ghana Football Association, through its club licensing board. I think for a long time, their less than satisfactory implementation of the licensing regulations has given room for clubs who do not necessarily meet the requirements for specific aspects of the club licensing protocol to still exist, to still compete in the Ghana Premier League. So you'll hear reports of clubs going several months without being able to pay their players, and there will not be any sanctions for that. You don't. In fact, the only area that it appears the club licensing board takes seriously has to be pitches and infrastructure. That's where they issue temporary licenses. Sometimes they stop clubs from playing at home. But it looks like for all other areas, they do not appear to be willing to crack the whip. Because RTU have had issues with finances for the longest time. Anywhere else, they would have gone into administration. And not just RTU, but a number of the clubs. So between 2019 and 2021, when they qualified for the Ghana Premier League, the club was on the brink of insolvency. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia donated a total of 300,000 Ghana cedis over 3 separate donations to the club. So I think the last of those in that period was when they qualified from the Divisional League into the Ghana Premier League. Around the same time, former President John Mahama gave them, I think, about 250,000 Ghana cedis. His brother Ibrahim Mahama as well. So many other people. But the first point of worry was in 2022. Back then, it had to take our brothers at Asempa FM and Happy FM to organize a fundraiser before RTU could complete the season.
Wow.
So there were games that they needed to honor. They had gotten to the point where, because they were no longer credit worthy, no one wanted to lend money to RTU. So they could not pay players, they could not borrow fuel, they could not get credits for these hospitality facilities where they would normally want to lodge if they come. So since that time, the idea of sleeping in a hotel is non-existent. And that's why, even though they have a game this weekend, when they played Dreams on Wednesday, they had to go back to Tamale.
Are you kidding me?
I kid you not. And the team has been involved in an accident.
You mean
Today. It happened last night, RTU. The team has been involved in
that
an
is
accident.
wild?
There were no casualties. But so just so people can understand where the club has been for a long time. And I'm talking about from 2019. There's a 5-year period, right? So they've not had money to book hotels and let players rest. They will get to the town on match day, play the game. By evening or by dawn, they are on the road going back to Tamale. That is for their away matches.
So if they have a game at Dreams on Wednesday, they would leave Tuesday.
They left.
Yeah,
they would leave on Tuesday.
So they would leave Tuesday, arrive on Wednesday morning.
Yes.
And what? Where do they stretch? Or they just come, have lunch in the bus and just drive straight to the venue?
Any decent location close to where they will play their matches. And that has been the trend for a long time. And that's why I kept telling people that this team will go back to Tamale, irrespective of the nearness of Sunday's match with Great Olympics. Right? So that was the situation back in 2022. It had to take Asempa FM and Happy FM. God being so good, when they did that appeal for funds, that fundraiser, people responded and donated club. There's a story on My Joy Online dated 2022, I think August, where the club's communications director said, in order to prevent what had happened, where they now needed public benevolence to survive, they needed to raise 3.8 million Ghana cedis to survive in the Ghana Premier League the next season. How much did the club raise at that time? It did not happen. Again, It had to take the benevolence of people from the north who were a bit affluent, past directors of the club, fans who were a bit affluent, and generally people who cared about the club to donate money for RTU to be able to do this.
So a professional football club was basically running on charity.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
I don't want to get into the politics of the boardroom issues and which characters walked away from the club, because those are a bit murky. So let's just stick to the club itself and what has been happening that we can speak to. Now, what should have happened when all of these things were going on? Because if there is an established pattern of a club failing to honor its contractual obligations, and each year you are going to hear stories of RTU failing to pay its players for between 6 to 8 months, sometimes a year.
They just fired a coach. Actually,
I'll come to that.
Who is owed from last season,
Yes.
basically.
But if you tell me that the club licensing board still goes through RTU's books and declares them to be financially healthy enough to be able to afford the cost of competing in the Ghana Premier League, meets their obligations, then one of two things has happened here. Either RTU have cooked their books, and so they've presented fake numbers and created the wrong impression to the club licensing board, or the licensing board looked through their numbers, saw that they were perpetually flirting with insolvency, and still decided that in the spirit of, Jaimaninka, in Ghana football, no one really has money anyway. Let's allow them to go. I think one of these two scenarios has played out. Because it is impossible that RTU will pass the licensing requirements. If they meet those requirements, it means the requirements are very low.
Yeah.
If they meet
Given their very established financial troubles.
Exactly. Now, every year, as I've said, players and coaches threaten to walk away from the club because they don't have money. In March this year, the players, before they played, in fact, on the 6th of March, they were getting ready to play Pando Hearts of Lions. The players decided that enough is enough. And so they boycotted training because at that time, they had not been paid for 6 months. And then the coach, being desperate, was no longer bound by the oath of secrecy in his contracts. He needed to speak out and ask for public support, because in the past, that is one way the club has raised funds. In fact, the most effective tool of raising funds is to let the world know that they are broke. So, Abdul Mumin, the former coach, gave an interview and said, look, this is the situation. The boys are refusing to train, even though the match is on the next weekend. Now, because the club knew that it had not honored its contractual obligations to the players and the players were right, they could not sanction any of the players. Not Eric, also Efriye, not Baba Kushibo, who we spoke to, and certainly not any of the new players that had been in the team. And you see, the RTU situation is unique because you have teachers who have put their career on hold to come and play football. You have photographers. An example is Eric Osuefriye. He runs the Eye Capture Studios. He's a professional photographer. Last year, or a few years ago, he made the decision to put that on hold and do football full-time. He's a very good striker. At the beginning of the season, he scored against Accra Hearts in that game for them. Right? So, for someone like him, he has his business going on, so he can support himself to a certain point.
And these are the things club licensing was supposed to fix.
Yes.
That to ensure that the club administratively is very well structured. So in other words, they have to be properly instituted salary scheme, and they have to be paid
and more importantly,
on a regular basis. Everybody has to have a contract.
Yes. You need a practical business plan that shows that you can generate revenue to meet your contractual obligations.
Exactly.
Right.
So where's the revenue coming from? Where is the expenditure going?
So it's not enough to say, I have an agreement with this player and I'm going to pay him. You need to show where the money is going to come from. So it is based on that and even how you will fund your operations, cost of feeding, accommodation, transportation, and all of those miscellaneous expenditure. It is based on that the club licensing board will now
give you a
license, because then they have been able to establish that all other things being equal, you can bear the cost or you can afford the cost of participating in the league. And that has a direct relationship on the integrity of matches.
Yes, of
and
course
the-
it does.
And on the league itself.
So
Now-
then, how did all of that contribute to what happened on Wednesday?
Good. So the players have boycotted in March. By the next month, the supporters had started noticing that this money situation is affecting us because the coach is making some funny decisions that we don't necessarily, that do not make sense. So against Nswatraman, when after they lost, the supporters said they had had enough. They wanted the coach out because they believe he had sabotaged the club by some substitutions that he made.
They alleged
That
that
curiously,
he made substitutions that led to their defeat.
Yes.
And so therefore, he must have fixed the game by himself.
Yes. So they alleged match manipulation and
Yes.
sabotage.
Okay.
Curiously, RTU in their statement after that clarifying the situation of Abdul Mumin and confirming that indeed they had sacked him, referenced the position of the supporters and said this is why the supporters do not have faith in him, and so we've asked him to step aside.
Fair enough. So they got rid of him.
They got rid of him, but the issue that led to the players boycotting training was not resolved. It has not been resolved. I don't know what the club licensing board did, but they didn't. It didn't look like they did enough to stop RTU from playing their matches, because if players are saying we are not going to work, you cannot vouch for the integrity of their matches. And this is where I think, beyond the club licensing board, the GFA itself was not very responsible on Wednesday. And here's why. By Tuesday evening, word got around the country that RTU players were going to boycott the match. By Wednesday morning, it had spread like wildfire. Before midday, the RTU PRO gave an interview to Peace FM here in Accra and said, oh, this is not true. And here's the thing. The media were very specific in what was going to happen, where the players are going to come from. So if you check my
so
socials,
the media did its job.
we did our job. So if you check my socials, I actually posted the stories that were reported on the morning of the match. It was the same Galaxy FC that we said we're going to provide the players. RTU denied it on Wednesday morning.
So we literally did our job as watchdogs.
Yes. And you see, if you are the Ghana Football Association and you have a product to protect, the latest incident of integrity happened just 3 years ago, involving Ashanti Gold and the Inter Allies. What I think should have happened was that if you are the GFA, don't even deal with RTU. Call the players directly and find out whether the situation has been resolved, because they were given public radio interviews and saying we are not going to play this match.
And
You
that
got
we
some
are
of the
not
audios.
and that we are not the ones in the.
Yes.
Okay.
You heard
So-
some of the audios.
Yes, I did.
So what should have happened was
I
that
want you to tell me more about the other failings and structural deficiencies on the day, or that exists in our system, that allowed this to happen.
So that's what I'm coming to.
Yes.
What the FA should have done was that get in touch with the players. If they confirm to you that indeed they are not the players coming to play that match, or they are not the players in Accra in that one, because RTU is too broke to pay for players to fly on Tuesday or Wednesday
On the same
afternoon
of
to
the
come.
game.
No, they don't have money for that kind of thing. Once it is established that the players are not coming, call the match off, protect the integrity of your game, and declare RTU to have forfeited the match.
Okay, they didn't do that.
Right? They didn't do that. Now, the other situation, and what actually happened on the match day, was that Dreams FC played the match under protest. So if you saw the images of some of the players turning their backs and all of those things, that is what...
It's those things I want us to get into.
Yes.
So the public would understand what structure exists in our footballing regulations.
Good.
In issues like this.
So
And
on match days-
explain what you mean by playing it under protest. So
yes. So on match days,
yes.
you have the CMS system.
Yes.
What it does is that it has the database
It's
of
a competition management system.
management system. It has a database of all licensed players, because to play in the Ghana Premier League, you need a license.
Yes.
You have all licensed players, their dates of birth, age, image, everything there, right, for each club. So
Every club has registered 40 players, I think.
exactly. So for the players that are going to play in that match, the club just needs to present a list, pull the data from that, and then present to the match commissioner. This is the list of players who are going to play
And you can only select from your registered 40.
on the CMS system.
Yes.
Right? So under normal circumstances, it should be impossible for you to bring players that are not on the CMS system
So what
to come
happened?
and play. That is why I say there was a dereliction of duty on the part of the GFA.
What happened?
Its match commissioner.
What happened?
What happened was that RTU presented a list. That list was accepted by the match commissioner and the referee. What should have happened was that the FA should have told the match commissioner that based on what we have picked up, if the match is going to go ahead, make sure that when RTU presents its list, even if it's 1 hour before the match, send the list to our competitions department. There will be someone on standby who will cross-check the images that you have in front of you with the images in the
real
system.
time.
Yes, in real time. And this should not take 1 hour. You simply take images of the people standing in front of you, forward it to the IT department. They cross-check with what's on the CMS and the database, so that if there is a suspicion of fraud, if there is a suspicion of impersonation, you deal with it there and then.
Okay. So just to help you a little bit. So what happened? What actually happened? And the systems and structures in place, the processes in place, is what I wanted us to get into. There is a pre-match. At that pre-match, what happens? At the pre-match, that's where the team managers and the officials, everybody meets. And the captains of the team, everybody meets and says, we have a team. And this, and then they agree on JC colors, all those things. You display everything. Okay. On the day of the match, the referees, the match commissioner, they all do an inspection. It was there that Dreams FC said, this is Dreams, the opposition, that they suspect that the players RTU was presenting is not or are not the ones whose names are on the official team sheet list. And so therefore, they are protesting. What about the match commissioners and the officials and the FA? The match commissioners couldn't do anything because the laws do not allow them to do anything. The laws, in fact, let me read it to you. This is what I wanted you to do the whole time I was asking you about the systematic failures that allowed this to be able to happen. Okay, so they ask RTU, they challenge RTU to provide the identification of their players, which comes with pictures. Okay, and the TMS system. RTU said they didn't have. And the GFA has a law, the regulations has a law for when a team is unable to present identification of their players. And it's here, under player license, Article 15. He said the referee, the assistant referees, and the captains of, sorry, let me take it from 15.1. It says clubs participating in any official match sanctioned by the association shall always take with them to the football field the licenses of participating players duly issued by the FA. Now that will confirm that this Achu is Achu because Achu is holding or team manager is holding Achu's license. Okay. But it says that the referee, the assistant referees, and the captains of the two clubs shall inspect the player licenses before the commencement of each match. So there is an inspection process to verify identification. This is the law. That was done. However, 3 says that a match shall be played. This is the real issue. It says the match shall be played even if the licenses of some players are not available for inspection. So, the match commissioner, the referee, all of them could not have said because we suspect or we know that these players are not the ones they are pretending to be.
That is why I said you have a greater duty of care. But the problem even starts from 2.
Let me finish this one.
Okay.
Then you come in with it. The 3 continue. It says a match shall be played if the licenses of some players are not available. So in other words, the referee, the match commissioner, they all can't say they are stopping the match simply because they've seen that Achu is not Achu. So the law does not allow them to do that. He said, in such an instance, this is what the law allows them to do. A group photograph of the referee, the captain of the opposing side, and the player's consent shall be taken and submitted to the GFA secretariat within 1 day. After, not before or during, like you were saying, after the match has been played, either by the match commissioner or the defaulting club. So if so after you come and actually say we don't have the licenses of our players here, the law says even if we don't have, we play the game, but we take picture. So you saw the picture trending.
Yeah,
they
so
took the
I
picture.
know, but I'm saying that these regulations, friends, do not fix the problem. They do not address.
That's the point
issue.
I'm making. That this is the regulations are part of the reason what happened.
Exactly. But I'm saying that what the FA should have done. Look, I don't care if you have to set this aside, because you have a product to protect. And you see, the same GFA itself, 2 years ago when Brekum Chelsea came to Accra to play Great Olympics, there was a suspicion that that match had been compromised, and so they seized the phones and some gadgets of players of both teams. You remember that that episode?
Yes.
What regulation gave them the power to seize the phones and undertake that investigation? But they realized that they owe the duty of care, and in order to protect the brand and the products that they
should have
have,
acted.
they needed to.
That's a fair point.
The second item on Section 15, for me, really is useless, because how do you say that the referees and the players should inspect? The whole point of inspection is to be able to detect if there is an anomaly.
Yes.
How do you require or hand the responsibility to players and then referees? What if the referee has only officiated one RTU match all season and he does not know the players?
No, he's using the license. He's holding it so you can see.
But in situations like this one,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
How does he tell?
No, in situations like this, he can't tell. That's why he says they should take a picture.
picture
So 2
and
is
then
different
play the
from
game.
3.
I know. I'm just saying that it doesn't fix the problem.
No, I
Because
think we
the
all
regulation,
agree on
yes.
that.
So maybe going forward, what has to happen at the next Congress is that, look, this whole idea that it has to take 24 hours. By 24 hours, the damage has been done.
That's what I'm
Today,
saying.
people are blaming Dreams FC for playing. And here's the thing: Dreams didn't even need to win by a cricket score. If Dreams had won that game by 1-0, it would have served the purpose that for which, or they would have met their objectives for that particular match.
And you know the most preposterous thing?
No.
It says where the defaulting team fails to produce the license of the players concerned, either in hard copy or by email within the stipulated 1 day, the defaulting team shall be fined an amount of 2,000 Ghana cedis. 2,000 cedis for what RTU did. That is what the law says they can be fined. 2,000 cedis. The law doesn't say anything about RTU possibly facing punishment or any other club facing punishment. It says you'll be fined 2,000 cedis.
Demotion or
What
anything.
about the integrity of the game that RTU talks about? And this, the referee captured in his match report. And thanks to our friends at Inshira FM, they've leaked the referee's match report.
Right.
And this is what the referee said. He said, he says, incidents caused by players or team officials. That is a title of the form that you have to complete and submit. Over there, he says there were no incidents caused by players or team officials of both clubs. Then he goes down. He says incidents caused by spectators. The referee then reported again that the spectators were calm. They caused no incidents. Then the third item says other incidents before and after the match. And this is what the referee wrote. He titled it "Protest by Dreams Before the Start of the Match." And this is what he says. He says during inspection at 2:45, the 15-2 that Achu said is needless. The inspection at 2:45. The entire playing body of Real Tamale United failed to produce their registration cards and QR codes for facial identification by Dreams FC and the match officials. So they said they didn't have. They said he's not there. Obviously, because they were not the players. So that's why they said they didn't have. Now, Dreams was tested against the failure of RTU to produce their registration cards. And before the start of the match, protest photographs of the entire playing body of RTU, which includes me, the referee, and the team captain of Dreams FC, were taken accordingly. So according to the law.
Yeah.
Attached to this match report are documents are the protest photographs taken before the start of the match. And those photographs we've seen circulating on social media. So there is a breakdown of systems, and loose regulations have been taken advantage of. And a group of very, very scrupulous people have taken advantage and have ruined unscrupulous.
The final thing
I've
I'm going
ruined-
to say-
Okay, let him
No.
complete.
The final thing I'm going to say is this. You know, the football space is a very close-knit family. And often when you speak about things you disagree with, it seems as though you are crying more than the bereaved. This is a test case. If they care about the integrity of the product and the things that we see, we will see it at the next Congress. We will, even before then, we will see it in the FA's position on this matter and how they choose to deal with it.
This was deliberate. I
Oh,
want to see
oh,
what
it
the
was.
FA does.
It was.
To RTU. Look, Nat, hold on for
Yeah,
me.
sure.
Let me bring in Neil. He's been listening very keenly. We've asked a lot of questions regarding this. How is this possible? It's unimaginable that this could happen. So now the FA is at a crossroads, like Achu said. Neil, how has the FA been taking this? Because clearly we've had a fairly decent season, and to have this 4 or so days to the end of the season basically looks like it's eroded quite a lot of credit that has been built over the last 8 or 9 months.
Well, thanks, and thanks for the analysis by Achu, right? Is that right?
Yes.
For me, I dwell on where Achu talks about it being the test case. There are people in football who believe that there are a lot of things in our rules and regulations that might need or that need working on. It's an evolving situation. And the actors who act on behalf of either the clubs or the FA act within the confines of the rules and regulations. You've clearly outlined some of those rules and regulations and questioned the logic of whether they work or not. For me, I'm a brands person. I'm a marketing person. I look at image. And the commentaries that have gone on about our football do not give credit to the image of Ghana football. That's a fact. You can't run away from it. How the FA will deal with it is within the confines of its rules and regulations as they currently exist.
Yeah.
But whilst doing that, like Achu said, we have a brand to protect. And I believe you enjoy, and everybody in the media will certainly be watching how the FA handles this matter. The match commissioner and the match officials acted within the confines of
the law.
As it exists. And one cannot fault them for acting within the confines of the law because those are the laws as they exist. There's definitely, I believe, grounds to look at how the laws can be strengthened to ensure that the integrity of the game is protected. That is clearly apparent from everything that has gone on in this particular matter. But I wouldn't want to go ahead of our prosecutor and our disciplinary processes and the judicial process of the FA to make any categorical statements or statements of opinion. I would rather leave it with our process and our systems and our rules and regulations to handle it. But from the image side, we know what we'll be doing whilst this is going on. But for me, it's really the matter has been referred to the appropriate committee. They must handle it. And whilst they are handling it, we as an FA would have to look at how do we come out of this clearly positioning and posturing to the general public, to you in the media and to all football enthusiasts, that we are really keen on pushing our game and pushing our game to where we ought to get to. Those would be my quick comments on what has transpired. It is not a pretty picture that has been painted about Ghana football.
All right.
There are some very pertinent questions that, listen, I think, excuse me, I've got some very interesting questions coming through here from our big brother Godfred Akotobuafo, and it just goes to serve the point that we made earlier about the broken systems and how the laws do not maybe necessarily adequately take care of what happened, but even more importantly, how there was a failed opportunity at so many levels to have curtailed this. Because it says, what is the function of the match commissioner in the process up to the point where the referee takes control? Up to that point, what is the match commissioner doing? What's the match commissioner's job? And he says the last match commissioner seminar taught them about integrity. Now, this integrity is how exactly do they implement that facet of their function as match commissioners? How do they do it? This is one of those situations where they could have come in. Because, and Achu made that point brilliantly, that it doesn't matter what the law says, and Neil agrees, you have a brand to protect. So that brand protection first.
But that's a question first. I mean, if you are to protect integrity, but the match commissioner is enjoined to work within certain confines, what does he do?
Well, to be fair,
the match commissioner has a job to do.
Yes,
it's like you are working with a framework, and you are told that stick within the framework. The match commissioner doesn't have the latitude to take a decision that is outside of the framework.
I felt
He
like
does
the
it.
latitude
If you
existed.
compare the injury that would occur,
No, I'm just saying
No,
that.
really,
I'm
in
just
this
saying that.
case.
Let's be fair to the match commissioner.
That he was doing
and
it
his
by
function.
the letter of the law. But I'm
Okay,
saying
there's
that
a letter and a spirit, yes, but he is working with a letter.
why couldn't he do it with the spirit?
I'm not the match commissioner. I don't work as a match. I'm just
So
saying
that's the point.
The match
Because
commissioners,
so
the
the
two
match
are supposed to
commissioners.
provide the balance that you need.
But then the person is working within certain confines. I think we need to
It-
make that point.
Yes, but
and
it does.
This is
But
not
if
to
you
hold
look at
brief for them,
yes,
but they are working within confines.
Neil, when you see here that the regulation says where the defaulting team fails to produce the license of the players concerned. Now, actually, let me go to 3. It says a match shall be played even if the licenses of some players were not produced. In this case, licenses of whole team was not available.
I don't have that as a fact.
The referee wrote it in his match report. That's the fact.
Yes, I'm saying I don't.
You
I
don't.
have
Okay,
it. Yeah,
I
have
do.
it. Yeah.
The referee says
I
here.
also don't know the document you are referring to, so I've not seen it.
You mean the referee's report?
No,
Or?
I've not seen it.
I have. I can share it with you right now.
I'm saying you have a document that you are calling the referee's report. I've not seen it.
I have seen it.
I'm saying I haven't seen it.
Okay, you
So
don't
I can't
believe that's the
speak to-
referee's report.
No, I'm just saying I can't speak to something that I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And he continues and says, so if there is more ample evidence that a game will be tainted, there is no other avenue than to play the game which actually injures the reputation. What will happen if the match commissioner had said he won't sanction the game because an entire squad had been protested against? And this is basically the same thing we just said. In this case, it was an entire team. The law doesn't say that he should continue and play the game and take pictures if an entire team couldn't produce a license. It said some players. So there was leeway
Wait, just
for
a
him to
second.
have
When you
exercise.
say some, how do you interpret some?
Some is not whole. That I know for sure.
Yeah, but some could be whole.
Yes, but some is not whole.
No, why can't it be whole? I mean, it's
You are using the
can't
parts
it be-
to represent the
Okay.
whole.
So Neil, you
No, but for
agree
me-
that
for
you
me-
agree
for me-
that
for me,
exactly.
the thing is, and we can't run away from the fact that this whole conversation doesn't do good for Ghana football.
It does not.
I mean, nobody who loves football would say anything different. And I'm a football fan before I'm a football whatever.
Yes.
And so for me, it is at the FA, as an FA, we need to deal with this in a way that lets people understand that we are not happy about it. Number one. Number two, we go into our systems and recognize where there are flaws and deal with the flaws. For me, that's the only message as an FA we can send that would tell everybody that we are really serious about what we are doing. If we don't do that, then really, everybody has a right to question, does this FA really want to protect its brand? Is it really keen on pushing what they claim they are pushing? You see, for me, and it's very sad that this is a week in which, for the first time in a donkey years, our Black Stars won 2 games on the trot.
Yeah.
We were all enthused about fine. We considered some goals, but everybody was
were happy.
very buoyant. So through last week in Mali, you get buoyed by an away result. You called that match a BP match, blood pressure match,
Yeah.
but we still won it. You come to Kumasi and you win 4-3 again. The defensive side not the best, but you still win. You've won 2 on the spin for the first time, I think, in 4 years. Fast forward Tuesday, everybody is bubbly. Wednesday, then this happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't help but feel a bit depressed and very, very upset. And I was upset at a personal level. And I'm sure everybody in the FA will be upset.
Yeah.
The question is, how do you use energy of your being upset to write what you believe ought to be righted? Okay, using the processes as you have them, and then taking actions that communicate to the publics that you serve that you are really keen on doing right by them. Because see it, people may have traveled to Dawu to go and watch the game, believing that this game was going to be played in a certain spirit.
Yeah.
The certain suspense levels to be there, the quality of play that they believe the two teams, all these things go on. Then you look at the fan, and the fan goes, and then this happens. Okay, and then we get the kind of commentaries that are coming back there. But I also am a student of the law, so I would look at the legal side and say, let the legal side do its work, and whilst it's doing its work as an FA, whatever transcends or comes out of that, we must work with it, and use this for me as leverage to improve where we ought to improve. Yeah. And we need to be honest to ourselves that there's a certain part that ought to be improved out of whatever we are seeing. Let us work to improve it. And I'm sure that if we do that and communicate that clearly to the media and to the publics, our footballs the level of integrity of our game would be recognized and respected. That's my perspective.
Yeah, and it's a fair and it's a fair one. Actually, no, I'll have to move on to Nat.
No, it's just on the club licensing bit.
Yeah.
You said a lot about that, so let's move to Nat.
All right.
Actually, we keep coming back to you. We won't finish.
Our time is running, so
Yes, exactly.
let's cut to the chase. You know what? I'm thinking of a few things here. First of all, one key point that Neil raised about our laws and the body of laws that we have which govern the game.
Yeah.
I'm looking at our ethics, the code of ethics, which would sort of encompass everything that has been done by every official or officer of the FA within this matter.
Okay.
So that these body or this body of laws takes adequate care of whatever blunder has been made or whatever
Crime has
breach
been committed.
or whatever breach has been done against our laws. That is one. Number two, that after this period we have what could easily be known as a foolproof system. Of course, it's human beings are drawing these systems. It's human beings are putting these systems together. And so because of that, there is a certain margin of error that you always expect. However, it is in our interest and in the interest of the people we serve to ensure that we have systems that are close to foolproof, because we see them with our friends in Europe and the Americas. We go there, we have these experiences, we come here and we celebrate them all the time. Therefore, if it means that sometimes we have to get into very, very manual methods because we do not have the technology, let us get into those manual methods. For instance, that we have what is traditionally done in our exam halls when students are going to write exams, where a set of invigilators are not doing the core invigilation of checking on students and what they're writing and all of that, but are coming in there to check names and with their master list of pictures of the persons whose name are against these index numbers and are checking so that everything is correct. Very well. If we have to resort to that system for now until we get technology on point, let us resort to it so that we get all of these things behind us. Now, I sit back and I'm rolling back to almost 2 decades ago when we had the very famous or infamous story of Nanya FC going to play in a game that had a cricket scoreline. And obviously when you mention Nanya FC, it also then has a certain brush of dirt on somebody we place way up there when it comes to reverence in our football. And when
that
it comes
singular match has ruined a lot when it comes to the name Nanya FC.
Very well. and you see, it's not just Nanya FC, but then Ghana football by extension, because everybody is watching and the world has become smaller because of the way information is now disseminated. I mean, if you compare information dissemination now in 2024 to what we used to do back in 2003 and 2004, there is a vast difference. Yeah. And so we need to get to that point as well. Let me wrap everything up on the bit about effect. The effect all of this is having on the society or the bigger framework of society. Now, we talk about talent development all the time and the efforts that private individuals are making in talent development. I've been listening to the little bits of your interview, which will be aired later with Tom Vernon. And Tom Vernon is Tom Strand? Yeah, sure. And Tom Vernon,
another Tom.
Yeah, Tom Vernon is an individual who, who just mirrors everything that people want to achieve when it comes to the ultimate talent development program. Because he went into a place which nobody would have ordinarily gone to and made sure that he got platinum out of dust. Now, I visit the North a lot. Last weekend, I was in the North. And it would amaze you to note that we have such a pool of talents. I sometimes think about it and I'm asking myself, if only we had the systems, okay? If only we could replicate what we have here in the southern part of this country, we would struggle when it comes to recruitment at these age-specific competitions and all of that. Because guess what? I've seen it for myself. Look at the current Black Starlets team. Look at the current Black Stars team. Look at the number of players who draw or trace their roots to that part of the country. It's amazing. And where does an RTU stand in all of this? For the young child who is growing in a community where there is a setup like RTU, which is referred to as a community club, they are growing into a system or a tradition where their forefathers, their fathers, their grandfathers, whoever, all the people who have preceded them have grown on a certain football brand based on which children who are aspiring to play football are shaping their dreams. I have met someone in Liverpool, for instance. I met Liverpool's bus driver. I don't know if he still drives the bus. When I met him, he gave us a ride in the bus. He was showing us where everybody sat. I mean, everywhere.
You can ask Achu. His uncle is a bus driver. They have an association.
and this bus driver was telling me that he started dreaming about working for Liverpool from age 7. I met him in 2018. He started dreaming about working for Liverpool at age 7. So you can imagine all the kids in the northern part of Ghana, specifically the Tamale area, or the northern region, who have RTU as a yardstick for maybe,
Football excellence
or, football achievement. Because guess what? When I roll back the years and I'm looking at names like Alhaji Aliu Mahama of blessed memory, Ghana's former vice president, who used to put players of RTU on his company's payroll. The late Alhaji Aliu Mahama was a very successful contractor. He used to put some of the players on his payroll. Some of the players lived in his home as a way of supporting the club. And you look at the efforts of the likes
Dr. Andani is doing that now.
Thank you. So you look at the efforts of the likes of Dr. Alassane Andani. You look at the likes of the late Lepora Jaula and all they've done. And the era which saw RTU participate in some of the biggest competitions, Ghana's FA Cup, the top 4, playing, finishing the league in a very good position. Okay, all of these things now fizzle into thin air because of this. So we need to find a permanent solution.
We do.
How do we get there? Now we need to start looking at the bigger picture, because when I get into Tamale now, I see a lot of flat land which has very good soil by CSIR analysis that we can plant and grow just everything there. I see an airport which goes to satisfy certain requirements within the African Continental Free Trade Area. So why then don't those who have the responsibility of going to sell Ghana, for instance, put the northern region or any other region that has such a problem within a big proposal where you are wooing investors to come in and say, look, you know something, come here, we're going to give you 20,000 hectares of land, come and grow teak, okay? But the caveat is that when you are growing the teak and you make your in your third year, when you've broken even, we want you to invest this quantum of money in this traditional club, because as a way of community engagement, this is a club that people are, what do you call the word again?
It's the soul of them people, They're emotionally connected.
Attached to, okay? Once this is done, you realize that you are meeting them halfway, and you don't necessarily need anybody to come from anywhere to do all of these things. Look, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, we're going to expand this on the Joy Sports link tomorrow. But look, guys, it's a very sad day again in our football, because, like I said, Danny K would have loved to come and celebrate Jordan's.
And Neil absolutely nailed it, because we were on a high, and this has definitely dropped. The moment, Danike,
yeah, friends, I just quickly want to touch on 2 things, 3 minutes.
Sure, go ahead.
Look, I think we need to look at the law and then the application of the law in this situation.
Yes.
Okay. The match reports what the referee wrote was the entire team. The law says you can proceed if some.
Yeah.
So his application of it was problematic, and that is a problem. That's not a problem with the law. I personally don't see it as a problem with the law, because your failure to produce a license doesn't mean you are not licensed. That's why they give you a period of time to provide it. So if on the day you don't have it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have it at all. That's why the law will say that if some have it, fine, you can proceed with protest and then continue. Then when you provide it, everything is cleared.
It happens on our roads, right?
Exactly.
When you don't have your license, they can tell you, they can give you a number of days to bring it. They don't stop you from driving.
Simple. So it's common sense, basically. So that's how I see it. I don't see it as so the match commissioner, I think he made a mistake in terms of his interpretation of the law, and shouldn't have allowed it to proceed if
the whole team
didn't have it. Now the Dreams FC they did their part for me.
Oh yes,
it was, of course. Yeah, everything that
I've
was.
seen people trying to drag Dreams FC,
and it's normal.
Dreams did not do anything wrong in this situation.
What they had to do, they needed to protest. They protested. They played the game. And if you were a player and...
it was so preposterous and hard to believe that the Dreams FC general manager went on Twitter and went to challenge a journalist that how can the journalist report this, because how can this happen in Ghana football? Only to find out that it actually happened because he wasn't there. I mean, in shadow.
Yeah. And it's interesting, but you understand why people drag him into this. But look, I think that even in for journalists also, look, we're always quick to jump and blame the FA. The protagonists of the league, the clubs, the players.
In this case, RTU. Why it's
look, they need to take responsibility. You can't get up and this is lying, it's corruption. What they are doing is just lying and corruption. As simple as that.
ways, right?
Then you jump RTU, the club who have perpetrated the act, and you come and blame the FA. For me, I'll not do that, because what they are doing is, you see, in another sect, if 1 and 2 are aligned, this could be criminal. And for me, we can't allow things like this. It's like I'm always stealing in multimedia. Then you go and blame multimedia for not putting CCTV cameras to catch me. I'm the thief, so I need to take responsibility for stealing.
Yeah.
What they are doing is wrong. And what the clubs, you see, like what Ashanti Gold and Inter Allies did, it's wrong. You tackle them. Look, in every system, no matter, in every system, there's an opportunity for you to misbehave. But when you misbehave, you'll be found out. In this case, they have been found out. We can't jump the gun and go and blame the FA for not putting 1 and 2 and 3 together. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, look, our football is very funny. And we've all agreed that if we were truly going to strictly go according to club licensing, we will not have a league. Simple. And that's a conversation for another day. So we all agree that if we want to have a league, then we need to go around and make our laws in a way that will accommodate some of the faults that we have in our system, but will not
compromises.
Yes, some compromise, but will not overstretch some things. So we need to understand this thing. I'm not going to go heavy on the regulators and the FA for doing something like this. Other than that, we will not have a league, and we've had this conversation before, because our football is we understand we understand where we are in our football. So in situations like this, look, when your players are in Tamale and you go and bring an entire group of imposters.
Even the thought behind that, it's very criminal.
It's very criminal. And you sit down and say, I will not blame the FA for this. RTU need to take responsibility for this.
Galaxy FC for agreeing.
That's the point.
It's terrible. This is terrible.
And it's very disrespectful to the registered players that you are contractually bound to.
Yes.
That you look at them, they say, you owe us money. 6 months, pay us. You say, Monfanso, come out for there. If you won't play, we'll go and bring some other people to come. Like,
in my name.
You go
and play in my name.
The guy scored. The guy was substituted on from his bedroom.
No, in fact, you
they subbed him
no,
on and he was sleeping.
Look, seriously speaking, even legally, the RT players can take on.
You didn't hear Baba Kushibo.
Yes,
he says that it's criminal. He wants to report to the police because it's impersonation.
Yes, they can take the club on. You see,
class action suit.
We need to hammer on these things. Look, we understand that.
And they're not answering our calls. When they answer your call, they say they are at the funeral.
Look,
every day you are at the funeral.
Charlie Fent, look, we understand that our football is problematic. We understand. Look, we get all these things, but it doesn't mean that you should take advantage of some of these lapses and perform such criminal and corrupt offenses. That one day, we can't allow it. And I'm happy that Neil has hammered on the fact that the FA needs to make a statement in this when they are assessing this issue, and they seriously need to tackle this thing, because Charlie, like, why? It's not fair.
Fair point, Daniel. Thank you very much. And I think you hit the nail on the head, because that was the angle I was going to ask you to tackle: the responsible actors in this matter, and RTU surely have misconducted themselves. Whatever be the case, Neil has said it. Whatever comes out of this has to be exemplary from the GFA, and they have to punish the people. And if there's one thing I can give this FA, they've shown that they have balls to take the tough decisions. They did it to Ashanti Gold. They did it to Inter Allies. Nobody thought it was possible that they could be demoted. They were demoted and rightly punished. So they have shown that they can make the tough decisions. This is another test of their character, because we need to cleanse our football of some of these characters. You see, the Baba Kushibo said, and this is a footballer who had and listen to him, he had the mindset, the presence of mind to conclude why he thinks the RTU people actually did what they did. In case you missed it, this is the RTU captain who didn't travel to the and listen to what he said keenly about why some people thought they could do what they did and actually went ahead to do it.
What I can confirm is that none of the registered players, that game. As I'm speaking currently, all the registered players that are in the RTU system are in Tamale. Some even went home, they are angry about some issues. But what happened in the room is something unimaginable. But I just want to say that some people have certain perception of the Ghana League, and they think sometimes certain things can be done, and yes, they really executed it. Because with this, it's more or less like interest football. When you are going through inspection, at least if you see Baba Kushbo on the team sheet, you should know this is Baba Kushbo because we've been there in each other. So if somebody comes in front of you and say, I am Baba Kushbo, you should tell him, no, you are not Baba Kushbo. So even this is criminal because it's impersonation. We are somewhere in Tamale and people are in the room having the impression that it's us who are going to honor the game. And that is really pathetic. So what I just want to say is that yes, the match was played, but the actual characters weren't those on the field of play.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Extending convenience, offering wholesale delivery to homes or businesses is not just a platform, it's a lifeline for busy students, professionals, and families in Ghana. And also experience the convenience. You can just call 030-223-9134 or 053-047-4694 or visit chalkboxonline.com and download the Chalkbox app, okay, on your Play Store or your App Store. You can find them there as well. Also, a key reminder about this. Euro 2024 is here. Like I told you before, we are the official Euro 2024 radio broadcast owners. We'll deliver live commentary of selected games, including the opening game, the final, with our team of talented commentators and analysts on Joy FM, Love FM, Hits FM, Adum FM, Inshira FM, and Asempa FM. All of that coming your way, of course. Now, apart from the live radio commentary, the multimedia group has also curated custom Euro 2024 shows on radio, TV, and digital, as well as a live viewing event, all aimed at delivering unparalleled experience of the competition to our audience. And we have a show 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. each weekday, Monday to Friday, previewing the competition. It's live on Joy Prime, hosted by Victor Achitamaklo. So that is a very special one. Of course, we'll be on the lookout for that. Look forward to it. It's starting next week. Next week, I believe Tuesday is when that show will start. So make sure you check it out. Tune in and definitely check it out. Anyway, also Densu says, now to all the men, let's be honest. Sometimes you just need someone to listen to you. No judgment, no advice, just a friendly chat. Well, guess what? This Father's Day, Linka is giving you away free empathic listening sessions exclusively for men. So if you've got a lot on your plate or just need to vent, this is your chance to prioritize your mental well-being. You know what? I recommend Achu for that. All right? Achu just needs to talk sometimes. So call Linka this Father's Day on 059-6324-633. That's 059-6324-633. It's their gift to you this Father's Day. All right? And one last thing to remind you of is this, okay? Truly, a father's love and his presence is replaceable. Father's Day is indeed a perfect occasion to express our gratitude and appreciation to our fathers. Now, that's why this Sunday, 16th June, is a day to celebrate our fathers and to tell them how much we appreciate their impact on our lives. So join us at the Best Western Plus Accra Beach Hotel as we create an unforgettable experience like never before. From a wide range of local and continental dishes, spectacular live band performances, raffle draw, photo shoot, and many other fun moments with Dad at a cool rate of 300 Ghana cedis per head, half price for kids, and a special discount for your bookings. For table reservations or enquiries, please call us on 054 840 224. 224, I beg your pardon, 0548 40 2224 or 0551 7079. 0551 700079. This event is proudly sponsored by Capfarm Ghana Limited and EAK Clothing. All right, so make sure you enjoy. And also, speaking about Father's Day, this Sunday, Springboard is also telling you that your virtual university will air earlier from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. instead of our usual broadcast time of 7 p.m. That is tonight. That's to make way, of course, for the Euro competition. So enjoy our special Father's Day edition as host Reverend Albert Okran engages in a dynamic discussion with his son, Jojo Okran, on financing startups across Africa. Imagine a father asking his son questions. That's amazing. You don't want to miss this. We'll be back to our original time next week. Springboard, your personal value will shoot up. All right. Thank you very much. I've got some of you sending in messages. You've got lots of thoughts on what we've been discussing. This one says, hello, Finto. I'm not a lawyer, but I know that in law, some does not interpret as a whole, entire, or everybody. So the whole body of the FA, which have a lawyer as their general secretary, telling me that regulation is not what the officials interpreted on that very match day. And the president of the FA quickly tweeted the same regulation. Really, Danike from Lakeside has some questions. This one also says, please, the law says that some, but in this case, it was the entire playing body without a cure. They should not have been allowed to play this game. This is a message from, who sent this? All right, Kosi Ablome sent us that message. Thank you for that. This message says, hello, Fed. Thank you for the great show as always. Immediately I saw the scoreline that day. I knew something went wrong. How can we have serious sponsor when we are doing this to our football? How can such nonsensical behavior bring back the love? These acts of criminality should be condemned without any reservation. Heads should be rolling immediately. Everything happening within the league is a reflection of the leadership. And he says, well, the Euros is here. Spain all the way, Euro to España. Anyway, I wish all Real Madrid players all the best. This is from Dale, listening to us from Madrid, Spain. I've got some more messages here. This one's a Fent. The issue has revealed a lot. It goes to show how unpopular our league is. Match officials don't know the players. I think we settled that matter. But let me read your message anyway. Match officials don't know the players. Opponents don't know other team players. And supporters equally don't know the players. The question is, how many teams have failed it unqualified players during the league? RTU would have gone away with this if no interview was done prior to the match. Wilson, we did tell you that Dreams FC actually protested because they knew. And, of course, the match commissioners or the match officials also knew, but the law allowed them, or they interpreted the law to be in a position to allow them to continue the game, and then they did what the law said they had to do. So I'm not sure that is entirely accurate. This one says, when we are trying our best to partially give the league some small little love, see how teams like RTU and Dreams FC, again, Dreams FC did not do anything wrong in this matter, so let's leave them. But the rest of your message says, when we are trying our best to partially give the league some small little love, see how teams like RTU are dying the small love. Judas Iscariot, he sent us that message. What a name, Judas. New Tojo from Tema Newtown says, GPL Basa, hey Ghana. Okay, can we be a little bit, well, it's not for me to say, is it? All right, let's read some messages then, some more messages. This one said, this is when they asked me to pick my own AFCON qualifying group. Group D, Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, Comoros. That's from Hukpoti Godwin, inside Achimota Christian Village. I think I first saw this on Julian's Facebook. So if you're going to copy and paste, please, we beg. Yeah, Chris says, Charlie, guys, when I saw the scoreline that day, my mind just took me back to that of Nania FC and the likes, a country called Ghana, Ampa. 055-1111-997 is the WhatsApp number. Let me check. Lots of you have also sent me tweets. Kind reminder that Neil Armstrong Mottagbe, head of PR and strategy at the Ghana Football Association, is our guest here. And he had a lot to say about this incident, how the FA needs to make very strong decisions as far as that's concerned. Israel Edem on Twitter says, what does the law pertaining to player salaries say in regards to RTU players and if they can be approached by other clubs? I think that you made that point brilliantly about the integrity being compromised because players are hungry. So how can you guarantee that they're not going behind and doing things they're not supposed to be doing? So it's a fair point. Delali Frank Ahute says, when I said to you people He said, I'm a former DFC staff, so I go take money. I knew for sure that the game plan team will do proper breakdown. The laws don't give anyone the chance not to go ahead with the match. Fento, I'm not a kid boy. Make you guys listen. Okay, Fento is not a kid boy and that they should listen to me. All right, thank you. Fair enough. But like we said, and like Neil also said, there is the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Chu believes that people should have taken some things into their own hands, maybe. And the FA themselves knew there was a lot going on before the game, and they probably should have acted even before what happened had happened. That's the whole point that everybody is making, that use common sense. There's another message here from Chief Seydou Adamu who says, Fento, all that Achu is trying to emphasize is that the FA should have utilized the early signal warning systems. This is a system FIFA, UEFA, and others have used to avert situations like this, including match fixing, and the GFA, I believe, have mechanisms to ensure this was done. I agree with you 100%. That this could have been avoided if we had just listened and paid attention to everything that was happening just before this particular game. All right, guys, let's switch our attentions to something else. Euros. We are the official radio broadcast right owners of Euro 2024. We have live commentary of the opening game tonight, and we'll preview that game. I'm not sure Neil wants to talk. Neil, you lived and schooled in the UK a little bit, no?
No, actually, I'm a full product of GH.
Oh, wow.
If I've done anything, there's just short courses.
And stuff like that.
And stuff like that. When working with Unilever.
Yes.
And then some FIFA programs. But yeah,
you are a guru.
Everything is here.
You are a guru.
Which guru?
Homeboy.
You are a guru.
I'm a proper homeboy.
Yeah, you're a guru. Listen, speaking of which, Neil, Hearts of Oak could be relegated this weekend for the first time in the club's history.
Yeah, you said could.
Yes.
Yeah, so it also could be the case.
I mean, you were general manager. Was it managing director? Which position? What was it?
Oh no, just I managed. I was the
you were running the club. Let me put it that. You were running the club at some point. I mean, those were different levels compared to what we see now. This is not back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Going into the last day, potentially facing relegation. This is across House of Oak.
Yeah, if you listen to the fans, and I think earlier today on Asempa, our former, let's call him Millennium Chairman, Ariza Cole was on Asempa FM lamenting. Was it today or yesterday?
It was today.
This morning, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
This morning. It was on Joy FM then Asempa FM.
So it just goes to show that for those who've been around the club for as long as we know, this is not where Hearts of Oak should be. The fans have been up in arms over issues over a period of time. And for me, it's sad that the team on the field of play should be looking like this when off the field of play there's a lot happening. But you talked about could go face relegation or it's face relegation. It's a fact. But come Sunday, by the time the games are over, we'll see what we shall see.
We'll see what we shall see. Right? I mean, that's fair enough. Right? It's a fair point. And it's a very straightforward situation in the league, isn't it? Actually, very straightforward. Like Hearts of Oak win, they survive.
Yeah, it's just a win. That's
they could
all.
If they win, they survive. They could still survive with a draw, but other results have to go. That
Olympics will beat RTU.
Fair enough.
RTU may not show up for the Olympics.
No. The other thing is
they may not even show up. Off what has transpired, and
yes.
I don't.
Olympics are guaranteed 3 points. It looks like
it would appear so.
But even if that happens, it's still not in their hands.
The team too may not show up.
You wow.
They are season.
And your team were tweeting all kinds of things after Wednesday.
If they don't put together a strong performance on Sunday,
after all those tweets,
all the things that they've tweeted.
Yeah, there's been a lot of tweeting from Bicheme.
I
follow them. Yeah,
a lot of tweeting.
They're looking very, very aggressive and very intent on protecting the integrity of the game. Man. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
We'll see how it evolves on Sunday.
It's very funny that at the end of the season, the relegation battle has more conversation than the title race or who won. And Samatex have done an incredible thing. Yeah. But we are faced with lots of things and nobody's really talking about them. But yeah, if all three teams facing relegation, i.e. Karela, Hearts of Oak, Olympics, if all three win, Olympics are getting relegated. That's what it is.
Yeah. That's it.
But Olympics could survive relegation if they win and House of Oak get beaten. Or if they win and Karela lose to Mediama
If any of those two teams drop points, Olympics will usurp them.
with a win.
Yeah, they'll bypass them.
Okay. So this is what the table looks like. Olympics, 2 teams are relegated already, as you are aware. RTU and Bofakwatan. Olympics have 41 points. House of Oak are just above them with 42. Only 1 point difference. So even if House of Oak draw and Olympics win, they go above House of Oak. That's how bad it is.
Anything other
Wow.
than a win, then
Wow. So anything other than a win for House of Oak, they're going down because Karela United, well, if they draw and Karela get beaten, they go level on points with Karela United with 43, and then it comes down to head to head. So this is a precarious situation for House of Oak.
The bottom line is,
And I have 3 House of Oak fans sitting over there. Isn't this lovely?
In Ghana, we say one warrior. That means score and let's go. It's a very simple equation. There's
House of
nothing
Oak
else.
actually need prayers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We are sitting here planning for next season's Premier League. You are saying,
Oh, this is bad. But bottom line is that we'll see. Sunday we'll be here on the Sports Arena. Danike will be hosting. Musbah will be in Samra Boy, bringing you live updates from there. We'll have reporters in Bechim who will be paying attention to what is happening in eagle eyes to what's happening in that game. All right, guys. We'll wrap up on Euro competition. Neil, I'll rope you in on this as well. We'll go through the groups, and you just tell me which 2 teams you think will make it out of that group, okay? And then you tell me which 2 teams you think will make it out of that group. All right, the Euro 2024 groups. All right, let's look at Group A. And Group A, I believe, has the host nation Germany. Okay, where am I? Pull it out for me. Okay. Do you have it? Show me. I can't find my own. Danny, where's yours? Just give me 1 second. Oh, give it to me. Sorry. All right, let's look at the Euro 2024 groups now. It's just coming up. There you go. All right, thank you very much. So, Group A has Germany, Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland. Neil.
Germany and Switzerland.
Is that straightforward?
Yeah, straight up.
That's a cool one. Yeah, he didn't even have to think. All right, okay, Neil. Group B: Spain, Croatia, Italy, Albania.
That one is difficult, but I'll put it 2 of Spain, Croatia, and Italy.
2 of them will make it. So 3 teams can actually qualify to this group. It's a 24-team tournament, which means that
So the third best place.
Yes,
that
exactly.
equation, yeah, still.
So
there,
you think that that's one group where 3 teams will
I
qualify?
reckon so. Their
Interesting.
third best should be able to go through.
For that to
I
happen,
think.
Albania need to have 0 points and minus 10 or something, because it means everybody has to beat them. And then
they can actually cancel each other out.
Yes,
those 3.
Mm.
Yeah, they could be playing draws.
Okay.
4-4-4.
Neil, behave.
Something like that.
Behave.
But it's very possible. It's very possible.
Group C: Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, England.
Slovenia, Denmark,
Serbia, England.
Denmark, England.
Denmark, England. Okay. Group D: Poland, the Netherlands, Austria, and France.
France and the Netherlands.
Yeah, that looks like it.
Poland, dark horses, yes, but
It's pretty straightforward,
those
huh?
two, yeah.
Group E has Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine.
Belgium, Ukraine.
Belgium, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Mm. And Group F: Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, Czech Republic.
Turkey, Portugal, Czech Republic, dark horses.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win overall?
France.
France?
I think.
Okay, that's an intelligent guess. And best player?
Mbappe.
If France win, it would make sense that Mbappe
It's like
would
some
be
rapid fire
critical to
quiz,
that.
I've
Okay.
actually thought through the tournament and everything I've said is I've just.
I know.
I've
You didn't need to
I've
analyze it.
gone
This
through
is
it,
just based on
Yeah.
history pedigree.
Yeah.
Danike, let's go with you.
Yeah.
Group A: Germany, Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland.
Germany, Hungary.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward. So no Switzerland for you. That's a tough one.
They may finish as
That's
best third place.
Okay. Group B: Spain, Croatia, Italy, Albania. Is that the group of death, by the way? That looks
Yeah,
tough.
that's really tough. I'll take Spain and Croatia.
Okay. And Group C, Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, England.
Really, really tough. Another tough group. But
Are England not favorites for the tournament?
Serbia and England, I don't think so. With the squad they've named, they are not favorites.
When you finish, I'll tell you about a joke somebody sent me from Serbia about England.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have time.
Group D, Poland, Netherlands, Austria, France.
Netherlands and France.
Okay. Group E, Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine.
Belgium, Ukraine.
Belgium, Ukraine. And Group F,
Portugal.
Turkey. And who?
I don't care.
And who wins the tournament? Portugal. And who becomes best player? Cristiano.
CR7,
A different answer would have surprised me. All right, Achu, let's wrap up with you then. Group A, Germany, Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland.
Germany and Hungary.
Straightforward. Okay, so another person sidelining Switzerland. It will shock all of you. I'm a Swiss fan. I think Switzerland are winning the European Championship. Group B, Spain, Croatia, Italy, Albania.
Spain, Croatia, Italy will qualify.
All three, okay. Yeah. Group C, Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England.
England and Denmark.
England, Denmark, so no Serbia, okay. And Group D, Poland, Netherlands, Austria, France.
France, Netherlands.
Looks very straightforward. Belgium, that's Group E, Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine.
Belgium, Ukraine.
Belgium and Ukraine. And Group F, Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, Czech Republic.
Turkey, Portugal.
And who wins the tournament for you?
Italy.
Best player?
Kylian Mbappe.
Which team will flop?
Spain.
Ah!
Yes.
Neil, what's your joke?
Actually, think so.
Yeah.
You can't believe it.
Oh, for real.
De La Fuentes.
You can't believe
For
it.
real.
You can't believe it. Anyway, Neil, thank you.
So the joke was a Croatian friend of mine. I won't mention his name because he's known to people in Ghana. So
Okay.
he may have a problem, but not in England.
Okay.
So this is how we joke in Croatia about English national team going for European Championship. And there's a picture of Harry Kane talking to the pilots of a plane. Keep the engines running. We won't be long.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you, Neil. Thank you for coming.
Yes,
You've been a great sport.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you for coming. Achu, Tamaklo, Daniel Cranton, thank you all for being here. Nathaniel Ato joined us as well. For you who tuned in, who sent us messages, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. We're back again with another episode of Game Plan next Friday. Until then, remember the team will be back with live commentary of the opening match of the European Championships on this network, 99.7 Joy FM. And it's going to be between Germany and Scotland. We'll see you then. Game Plan every Friday brought to you by Petrosol and DSTV. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. Do take care.